Hey, what's up? Will Hamilton here. I am the co-founder of FuzzyYellowBalls.com, and in this video, we are going to fix a serve mistake called palm up waiter tray. This one is a huge killer of power, huge killer of spin, kills your ability to hit a kick serve, and I see it all the time at the club level. Now, the way we're going to fix it is super cool because we are going to take a lesson with our new AI tennis coach, Bert. So taking a lesson is super easy. All you have to do is click Launch Bert, then I'm going to click Record. I'm going to walk up to the baseline and just hit a serve like normal. Once I've hit my serve, I'm going to click Upload, and then I'm going to tell Bert that I am left-handed. Then I'm going to click Upload, and in a couple minutes, Bert is going to tell me what mistakes I'm making and how to fix them. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate what palm up waiter tray looks like. I'm going to demonstrate it for you, and I'm going to demonstrate it for Bert. So that serve I just hit, I sent it up to the cloud. Bert is taking a look, and while he's taking a look, let me talk a little bit more about why palm up waiter tray is such a big mistake. So good servers, they will swing up on edge like this, then the racket is going to turn like that, and then they will follow through. Now, palm up waiter tray, the racket does not come up on edge, it comes up like this, and sometimes people call it the frying pan serve. You've probably heard that one too, but you aren't able to hit with spin and you lose a ton of power when you swing up like that because you're not doing something called long axis rotation, which is internal shoulder rotation combined with pronation. It's one of the last pieces of the kinetic chain. So all the power I generate with my lower body, if I'm doing the waiter tray, I lose it, right? It doesn't end up in the ball, but it does when I use long axis rotation. Okay, so my results are in, and here are all the serves I've hit with Bert in the last couple days. You can see there's a ton of them, and you can hit as many serves as you want when you take a lesson with Bert. More on that in just a second. So here's the serve I just hit, and this is computer vision. This is what Bert sees when he watches me serve. And then if I click on View Mistakes, you can see a bunch of mistakes pop up. I got foot around, I've got early racket drop, I got palm up waiter tray, the one I was just trying to demonstrate. And so let's say I wanted to fix that mistake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. And when I do, a video pops up where Dr. Mark Kovac is going to walk me through how to fix that mistake. So let's watch that video right now.
So this is sometimes referred to as the waiter's tray, and this happens in stage 4 of the serve. So typically what we're trying to do when we're serving is you're trying to get the racket from the load, wherever that is, to get the racket down into this position here. So that's the objective. And for a lot of players, they really struggle with that because they don't get ever to the right position. So they open up the racket face like this, and then as a result, they have to then shovel, and all they can do is hit a relatively slow serve that doesn't have a lot of weight on it. So if that's an issue that you're dealing with, one of the easiest fixes is a combination. It's 2 sort of drills in one. One is we got to keep our palm down or the tip of the racket pointing towards our eyes for longer, because what that does, that doesn't let you open up. And then the second is when the racket comes back, you want to think, can I get that racket as close to the back of my head as possible? Because that'll allow me to get into this position. So those are the 2 factors that we're trying to work on. So we really break this down into parts. So the first part is, can you get into this position? So that's just drill 1. And we don't need a ball for this right now. We just want to mimic the motion. Yep, and we don't have to over-exaggerate that, but again, the tip of the racket goes to here. Yeah, exactly. So that allows for that position. And then tip 2 is we actually start with the racket back here, and then we actually hit a few serves from there just to get that feeling of what that feels like. Good. Good. And now we want to put it together. So now we have the racket comes up like this, and then from here, the racket really goes and shaves the back of the head. If you were going to wear a backwards hat, that's sometimes a cue for people to think about hitting the tip of the backward hat. Or if you've got a ponytail, you may want to think about, okay, can I slice that ponytail as a visual? Good. Here's another drill that can really help with that, because that's one of the issues that a lot of players have. And one way to work on it is when we get into this position. So the goal again is you don't want to drop the racket back here. You've got to find a comfortable way to get the racket from here to here so it can get back down in this position. And again, when we practice this, it's a combination of leg drive with upper body motion. So starting here, off the back leg. So we put a little weight on the front leg, but we drive through the back leg and then we hit up on it. And we don't have to jump on these. We just want to work on the arm action. So put most of your weight on the back leg, just a little bit on the front, and then start back here. Exactly. And then just hit it. Good. Try to keep that ball toss back a little bit so that we can hit up on it. Good. But try to really exaggerate putting the racket down and the elbow up. Racket down.
I start here.
Start here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yep. Good.
I'll get one.
Yeah, that's starting to look good. Good.
Okay, so that was Dr. Kovac's drill for fixing palm-up waiter tray. I've been working on it, and now I want to see if I've gotten that mistake out of my game. I want to see what Bert has to say, so I'm just going to hit another serve. Okay, so my results are in, and I'm going to click on View Your Mistakes, and it's a little bit sunny out here, but you can see that palm-up waiter tray is now gone. I have gotten that one out of my serve. But I now have some other mistakes that I need to work on, and one of them is early knee bend toss. Now, when I was demoing serves earlier, I was actually making this mistake on purpose, and this is just when I mistime my knee bend. So, if I wanted to fix that one, I would click on early knee bend toss. Got another video where Dr. Kovac is going to walk me through how to fix that particular mistake. And this is how Bert works, right? You film your serve, you get your list of mistakes, you pick one, you fix it, you get it out of your serve, and guess what? Your serve gets a little bit faster, gets a little bit more consistent, gets a little bit more spin. Then you move on to the next mistake. You get that one out of your game. Your serve gets even faster. It gets even more consistent. You get even more spin, and you just go down the list of problems. And when you do that, the more mistakes you get out of your game, well, the faster, more consistent, more accurate it becomes, and ultimately you are going to hold serve way more often. Now, it is sunny, and I'm running out of sunblock, so let's go back to the studio. I want to take you under the hood, show you a little bit more how Bert works, and we're going to start by looking at some random dude named Novak. Those dots you see on his body, those are his joints, and Bert can identify and calculate the angles and distances between them. That red box, that is tracking the racket, and Bert knows the racket's orientation and can calculate your racket head speed. And then the green box is Bert tracking the tennis ball. Bert is keeping tabs on all of this stuff hundreds of times a second, which allows Bert to see and measure things the human eye can't. The stuff that is literally happening in the blink of an eye, like contact, which means Bert is able to identify the invisible mistakes you're making that no one has ever told you about before. For example, if you feel like you are arming your serve, then you might be suffering from a mistake called lack of vertical hip displacement. And that is the scientific term for the distance and the speed your back hip fires upwards when you swing. And the back hip is not something you typically think of when you swing. But take a look at Teresa versus Roger Federer. And Teresa, thanks again for letting us use your video. But when you eyeball it, you can obviously see there's a difference between the distance and speed the back hips are moving. But what you don't see is this. This is what Bert sees and measures. And you can see in this chart how Roger's back hip dips down and explodes upwards. And if you were wondering, it travels a distance of 49.6 centimeters. But Teresa's chart here, you can see it is much flatter. She has a lack of vertical hip displacement. And when she fixes it, or when you fix it, you'll add 5 to 10 miles an hour to your serve, maybe more, and you'll get rid of that annoying feeling that you are arming your serve. Now, what if you are not pronating properly? Well, Bert can measure what happens in that tiny window just before, during, and after contact. And what Bert is looking for is a scientific term called long axis rotation, which is internal shoulder rotation plus pronation. You need both. And what Bert wants to see is your strings right before contact pointed this way, then at contact is pointed at the target, and then after contact, they're pointed this way. Here's Iga doing it correctly, but then let's look at Dan doing it incorrectly. His strings are pointed straight down after he hits, and Dan, thanks again for being our guinea pig here. Now, computer vision by itself is not enough to fix your serve because it can see the mistake, but it can't tell you what's causing it. So, for example, let's say you suffer from over rotation. This is a really common mistake at the amateur level, and it just means that at contact, you are facing the net when you should be facing more towards the side fence. Now, why are you making that mistake? Well, it could be foot around, it could be early racket drop, you could be chasing a bad toss, whatever. So Bert needs more than just computer vision. Bert also needs a brain. And the brains of the operation is Dr. Mark Kovacs, arguably the world's leading expert when it comes to tennis biomechanics, how your body should be moving when you hit a forehand, a backhand, or a serve. In 2002, Mark won the NCAA Division I doubles championship, turned pro, and promptly blew out his shoulder. So that was the end of his playing career, but the beginning of his scientific one, because Mark got his PhD in physiology, and that's when Mark became Dr. Kovacs. He's had some cool jobs, like he was the director of the Gatorade Sports Science Institute, but more importantly for your game, in 2011, he published the world's leading study on the serve. It's called an 8-stage model for evaluating the tennis serve. It's been peer-reviewed twice, and it won him the International Tennis Hall of Fame's Educational Merit Award. It's great bedtime reading. So when you film your serve, Bert is going to watch your serve and compare it to Dr. Kovacs' 8-stage perfect model. And if you're making a mistake, then Bert will flag it, figure out what's causing that mistake, and then you'll get a video where Dr. Kovacs shows you how to fix that mistake. You're also going to get an overall score that shows you how close you are to Dr. Kovacs' perfect model. And you're going to get all sorts of really cool analytics like the angles and speeds of your body part that show you how you stack up against the pros and how you stack up against your peers. The one I really like is it calculates your racket head speed. What's so amazing about AI is the analysis that Bert does in that 1 minute, it used to take 2 days. Because Dr. Kovacs is based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and players from all around the world at all levels of the game, whether it's pros down to amateurs, they would fly down to Atlanta to work with Dr. Kovacs. And a few years ago, I put together a group of tennis players to go down to Dr. Kovacs' lab in Atlanta and work with him over 2 days. Dr. Kovacs put them through a battery of tests to see how close they were to the perfect model, and any mistakes they were making, Dr. Kovacs would then correct them. That event cost $5,000. And what's crazy is with Bert's computer vision, first, we can do that entire 2 days worth of analysis on your phone. And second, instead of spending $5,000 to go to Atlanta, you can do it for just one payment here on this page for $67. If you're doing the math, that is a 99.987% discount. So for $67, you are getting 1 month of unlimited access to Bert. And what that means is you can upload as many serves as you want and get Bert's feedback on what you should do next to improve. After that month is up, Bert is going to hang on to everything, your serves, your feedback, all that stuff, so that you can always go back and check it out. All you got to do is pull out your phone and open up the Bert app. And if you want Bert to take a look at some more of your serves, well, all you have to do is sign up for another month. This is not a subscription. This is like, it's kind of like taking a lesson with your coach, right? You just sign up for a lesson whenever you want. That's exactly how Bert works. So look, I think Bert is awesome because what other coach in the world is on demand 24/7, will show up at any court in the world wherever you are and give you a lesson on your schedule and give you a lesson for an entire month for just $67. I'm not going to do that, but Bert will. So if that sounds good to you, just scroll down this page, click that button to sign up, and you can be using Bert just a few short minutes from right now. So when you take a lesson with Bert, you are also getting 2 awesome bonuses, and the first is the new rules of singles. So Bert is using big data to fix your technique, but can we use big data to fix your strategy? Well, the answer is yes. That is what the new rules of singles is all about, because inside there are 20 new rules, new strategies that use big data to show you what the strategies are with the highest winning percentage. So all you got to do is cut out the old losing strategies, the stuff we were sort of taught when we were learning how to play tennis. Cut those out, replace them with the strategies that are backed by the analytics. So when you get inside the new rules of singles, you can see here are all at the top, there's the old rule. At the bottom, there's the new rule, and you can just swipe through all of these. And then if I click the play button down here, a video will pop up. This is Craig O'Shaughnessy. So Craig is basically the guy who is leading the analytics revolution in tennis. He used to actually coach Novak Djokovic on the analytics, getting him to use all these new rules in his game. And now we're bringing it to your game. So every one of these, if you swipe through, you click on the play button down here, a video with Craig is going to pop up showing you what the old rule is and then how to replace it with the new rule. Now, a lot of these rules are like really counterintuitive. My favorite one right here is the new rule for approaching the net, because up here, the old rule is to hit a backhand approach shot down the line, but that exposes you to a forehand dipping cross court. So the new rule is actually to run around that backhand and then approach cross court, hit a forehand approach cross court. Seems counterintuitive because now you're leaving the down the line passing shot. The winning percentage is actually way higher, and Craig will walk you through all of that inside the new rules of singles. So if you like the data, if you like big data, if you like analytics, you're going to love the new rules of singles. So in the past, we've sold the new rules of singles for like $199, something like that. But I just want to give it to you for free. It is yours to keep when you take a lesson with Bert. So I know not everybody watching this is a singles player. I know some of you are exclusively doubles players, and that's why we've got you covered with this next bonus. It is the new rules of doubles. So it works the exact same way as the new rules of singles. We've got 21 new rules, new strategies backed up by the analytics, by all the number crunching Craig has done, and he's going to show you how to replace these old rules with the new rules. So you got them all here. You can swipe through, and the first one here is actually my favorite. It's the new rule for faking. This one's really, really counterintuitive. But if you hit that play button here, Craig is going to walk you through it. Basically, you don't want to fake to the middle and cover the alley. You want to do the opposite based on what the data is telling you. So this thing is awesome, and in the past, we've also sold this thing for like $199, but I just want to hook you up with it. I want to give it to you for free, yours to keep when you take a lesson with Bert. So that's what's up. When you take a lesson with Bert, you've got Dr. Kovac's entire lab on your phone. You've got his entire brain on your phone. You don't have to pay $5,000 to go down to Atlanta and spend 2 days doing all of these analyses and whatnot. You've got the new rules of singles, a $200 value, and the new rules of doubles, a $200 value as well. So that's like $5,400 worth of stuff that you can get a hold of for just one payment here on this page today for $67. And just like all of our stuff, you are protected by our 365-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. So you can run with this lesson from Bert for an entire year. I mean, what other tennis coach is like, hey, after the lesson, I'll just give you a refund if it wasn't your cup of tea? So that's another way that Bert is super awesome. You're doing this no risk for the next next year. So all you got to do is scroll down this page and click that button, and literally Bert will be on your phone in the next couple minutes. As soon as you complete your order, you'll be able to download Bert to your phone and head out to the court. And I think Bert's going to transform your serve. I mean, we all see how AI is transforming everything, and I don't see why your tennis game is any different. That's why we did this. So I'm very, very excited to share this with you. I know Dr. Kovac is as well. I know Bert is excited to help you serve faster, more consistently with more spin and accuracy, all that good stuff, fewer double faults, whatever. So I'm going to stop talking. Just scroll down this page, click that button, and take your first lesson with Bert.